Today we'll have a look at a pen, the new pen, that new pen, by the brand that people are very enthusiastic about. And this is of course TWSBI. TWSBI, a Taiwanese company, makes affordable pens, and this is the new Vac Mini. I got this pen from La Couronne du Comte, and it was sent over for review purposes, but I'll give it away. Not in this video, but Aziza and I will do a serious nibbage video, and once that goes online, we'll tell you how you can win this. Alright, we'll be giving away. Okay, the box comes in a very simple plain cardboard outer sleeve with the TWSBI logo on there that then pops open, and out comes the classic TWSBI box that we have come to know and love. It has this sort of, I don't know, styrofoamish protective material on it, and then you have this clear plastic box which we have seen a lot of times before, and I think this is very nice packaging. It's very design, and I really enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Okay, so I've just opened up this box. The pen is suspended in place by these two plastic staple objects. I'm taking out the pen, just putting it to the side, because in the bottom of the box right there is a couple of accessories. So it is nice that they give you spare parts. Here is two O-rings. There is a wrench, which is a bit hard to remove because it has this sticky foil on it to protect it, but only on one side though. You can peel that off and then it will slide in a bit more easily, and there is, very hard to get out, there we go, some TWSBI silicone grease. Silicone grease, very useful stuff to grease the piston thread. You get about half full a bottle of it. It says silicone grease, and it says do not swallow or contact with eye. So, you know, just to avoid any confusion about ingesting it. And here we have the pen. Now it's called the Vac Mini. I'm looking around here. I have the 580, the aluminum version. So yes, the Vac Mini on top here. It's definitely a smaller pen, and it's all the rage. The reason it's so cool is that it is of course a vacuum filler. People really like vacuum fillers to have a large ink capacity. They're just cool. They're fun to use, and I think it definitely has some nice stuff going for it. Let's cover the parts of the pen, alright? So we're going to start here at the top of the pen, the finial. You have this, of course this is not working if you have lined paper, sorry. You have the finial. The finial has the TWSBI logo on it. Here is the clip they use. It's a nice chrome colored clip. And then you have an inner cap, which is not clear. I mean, it is transparent, but it is not the same clarity as the rest of the pen, so it's actually grayish. My lovely assistant hands me a sheet of white paper, thank you very much. So you can see the nib on the, you can see it through the cap, but it is slightly clouded. It has been pointed out to me that may make sense to protect the pen from UV radiation or something so that it won't dry up. Okay, well, I'm willing to buy that. And you have on the center band here, it's very reflective, so I'm trying to make you see that lettering. But on one side it says TWSBI, and on the other it says Vac Mini Taiwan in at least two different fonts. So I find that a little visually busy, but okay. Here we have the pen. It's slightly under half full now. There is a trick to fill it completely. I'll show that in a future video. Then you have a little turning knob to unscrew and undo the piston. So if you aren't familiar with the system, what happens is you unscrew this, you pull out a piston, put it in a bottle of ink, push that piston in, it will create a vacuum, and at some point the barrel will open up a bit so the vacuum pops and then ink is drawn into the barrel. The cap unscrews, and then you have the section, and the section is, it's all plastic with a bit of chrome there. There is nothing on that band. You have the nib. The nib is marked. TWSBI has a TWSBI logo, and this is a broad. Then you have pretty big threads there and a little rubber O-ring. Okay, now the fun part of this pen, of course, is that it is small. This is a smaller pen. I can use it unposted, but I would prefer it to be a bit bigger, and of course TWSBI thought of that by putting threads on the back. Let me show you that. Big threads on the back there, and then another metal ring, and then there's a lot going on there. You can screw this back on, and then you have a full-sized pen. Nice idea. I think that works well. Of course, it's not unique to TWSBI, but it works well. I think that's all there is to the pen. The section is well, just a cylinder. There's no real texture or shape to it. So there you have it, the pen. Now, what do I like about it? What do I not like about it? I like the vacuum filling system. It's fun, and it does really hold a nice amount of ink, which is very useful for people who do a lot of writing, although I'll come back to that in a second. I also like that TWSBI has a decent range of nib options. You can definitely pick a nib that suits you well. This one has the broad nib on it. I find that to be a juicy medium more than a real broad, but it does write well. Something that I will definitely say is this nib is smooth, and it definitely gives you a very pleasant sensation as you write with it. So that's very good. The price of the pen is not super high. Here it goes for 69 euros, so not dollars but euros. And that is, of course, not ultra cheap, but on the other hand, you get a pen with a vacuumatic filling system, and you know, I think it does look nice. So all of that I think is nice. Now, there's definitely a number of things I don't like so much about this pen, and some of those points I actually find quite severe. Some are a little aesthetic. I don't really understand why we need to have so many font types on the center band. I don't really know how well you can see this, but I find that just, for me it's too busy. There's too much going on. I would say pick one font and stick to it. That makes most sense to me. Secondly, the threads on the barrel, they really are big. They really stick out, and there's quite a step down from the barrel to the section. And that, I mean, the section is a bit skinny, but that's okay. It's a pocket pen, but these threads, they really stick out quite far, and I think it's impossible not to feel them somewhere if you hold it. That's all as maybe. I mean, you know, these are not necessarily giant issues. One issue I did find, and now I'm coming to my two more major points. The first one being that this, you see, there you go, cross-threading. You are supposed to put the cap on the back and cross-threading again. 2 out of 3 times in what I've been simulating up there is that you get cross-threading, and then of course it doesn't really work. It looks ugly, and it's not how it's supposed to be. Yes, there is that trick where you first screw it in the wrong way around and then the correct way, and then it works. But I wonder if it just happened again off camera. I wonder if they could not have done something. I always forget what the solution is. Either make the threads finer or bigger. I'm sorry, I'm not that technical person. But this is annoying. It's annoying that it happens again. And I'm not trying to be, I mean, if you have to screw them in like this every time because otherwise it goes wrong, I think that's an issue. The other issue, as we're talking about the threads, is I really wonder why the clip and the nib don't line up. Nothing has been done to this. It has been disassembled and reassembled improperly, but why doesn't this just line up? I know the Montblanc Moonpearl is significantly more expensive, but it has a very simple mechanical stopper in the cap, and when you cap the pen, the rod and bits all line up. I understand this is a much cheaper pen, but this is an issue. For me, this is an issue. Maybe if you have smaller hands, it's not an issue, but if I use this, then the clip digs into my hand. So I would have really preferred seeing this. Also, just visually, I find it more pleasing when the clip and the nib line up, but if you do it like this, then it's very loose and it will fall off. So, not that great. Final point I have is that the pen seems to have issues writing. Although the nib is smooth, this is what happens. So this is just uncapped, it's been out for a night, capped, I uncap it, I start to write. This is an A4 page. I cut off the top part because there was some other writing and I wanted to focus on this. So what you see here is that you start to write, and then this was, I think, I counted, of course I forgot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 lines, just 17 A4 page, so call it about lesser sized. 17 lines, and the nib runs dry. And here, this empty spot, I was actually still writing, but no more ink was coming out. Now, you're going to say, ah, SbRebrown, you amateur, you forgot to open the valve, because then there's going to be a vacuum and then it won't write. Correct, but unfortunately I did open the valve, and I opened it all the way. So that is not the cause. The cause is something wrong with the pen, and the pen was flushed when it got here. So it's also a very well-behaved ink, Pelican Royal Blue. There's nothing wrong with that. And as you can see, it just runs dry. So you can write about half a page with this pen, and then it runs dry. Now, I've spoken to someone else who has one in fine. He did not have that issue. So I think this is a matter of air exchange. I think the feed may not be adequate for the nib width that's being used. I've had similar issues with a 580 that had a 1.5mm nib. Now, that is really broad. This is just a broad, but it runs dry to the point where it just simply won't write. So it's not that the ink gets a little thinner, or no, it just completely stops writing. And that's a bit of a problem, because you buy a pen to write with. At least I assume you do. Now, it's possible that this is just a matter of an issue with this particular pen. That is possible. It's also possible that I'm completely nuts, but I do find this a problem. A pen should write. Now, maybe TWSBI intended this pen to be used with, say, a pocket organizer where you write 2 lines and then you put it away again, but it's not advertised as such. So to me, a pen that doesn't write, that's a serious issue. Okay, now then, the pen measurements will be on the website, sbrebrown.com, as will be high-resolution pictures of the pen, as well as the writing sample. The writing sample is what we're going to do next. I thank La Couronne du Comte for sending me this pen to review. I appreciate it. If you want yours, you can always buy one there. You just go to my website. You can figure out there how to get a 10% discount from La Couronne du Comte. And of course, this pen will be given away in the serious nibbage video that Gourmet Pens and I will do. Okay, I hope this was useful so far, and I'm glad to see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with the TWSBI Vac Mini. I'm opening the valve to make sure that there is a good ink flow. And here we go. As you can see, nothing happens. Okay, so a minute in, we can start to write. Vac Mini, the nib is broad and the ink is Pelican Royal Blue. Start with a bit of normal writing. Strange T, I'm sorry. Writes well, smooth, pleasant writing experience. A bit of fast writing. As you can see, no real skips, so that performs quite well. Wetness. I wouldn't call that a gusher, but it's not ultra dry for sure. Some line variation. You can squeeze out a bit without much issues. And finally, reverse writing. Very dry and also quite scratchy, so I wouldn't really recommend that, especially not for longer sessions. Doesn't really work. Okay, so there you have it. Thanks a lot to La Couronne du Comte for lending, or for sending me this pen and then allowing us to give it away. Guys, I hope this was useful so far, and I'll gladly see you later.